You're currently on tour, yeah?
Yeah, I'm on tour.
Yeah?
That's brilliant.
Is it going good?
Yeah, and like it's brilliant and like quite tiring and quite lonely actually.
Okay, cool.
Sorry to immediately take it sad, but I'm
Let's
quite
go there.
lonely at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. Next question.
Let's stay with the loneliness, Georgie.
Yeah.
Touring's like that, isn't it? Because you think it's going to be a glamorous, fun thing, and then if the gig goes really well, you're kind of alone in a travel lodge, and if the gig goes badly, you're kind of alone in a travel lodge. But either way, it's just you and the travel lodge, really.
Yeah, that is bang on.
It's really,
It's just you in the travel lodge. Maybe there's some poetry to be found in that, you know.
Just you and the travel lodge.
Just me and the travel lodge.
This is live creation happening for you right now.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, I actually find when they go well, it's worse because then you're so pumped and you think, my God, like there's so many possibilities, I could do anything. And then again, you're just in a travel lodge.
Yeah.
So,
You just always end up, everything
and
circles back to the travel lodge.
And you're just in front of a kind of one of those vending machines being like, do
Yeah.
something.
But
all they can do is give you toothpaste.
yeah. Oh, toothpaste.
They can, in travel lodges, they have toothpaste in vending machines now.
Okay, everything's about to get a little bit more exciting at the next venue.
Let's move on to the next question. Yeah, so you're on tour, you're a bit lonely, or very lonely. I don't want to ram that home, but...
That's fine, yeah,
I'm glad you're
that's
enjoying
true.
touring.
Thank you.
I suppose, because you're under the comedy section, but really you're a poet.
Yeah.
And so I want to talk a bit about the relationship between comedy and poetry. And comedy kind of, I suppose, has... people know what they want more, which is laughter, which means it can have actually, I find, I'm a comedian as well, a less successful one, it must be said, a more of like transactional relationship. So people come, they have that expectation. But poetry, I suppose, do you feel you can have a more like ethereal, kind of subvert what people might expect from what you're going to do? There's less of a kind of direct expectation than there would be with stand-up or something.
Yeah, totally. I think poetry's really amazing. I think it's the best thing in the whole entire world. Shock. But I think when you first encounter it, for most people, it's at school and it's like for the purpose of exams and studying. So it's really like, and what does this mean? And what does that mean? And why have they chosen that colour? And I believe that it's really just about how does it feel? How does that feel? And how does that make you feel? And like from the writer's perspective, the colour is just so irrelevant. I didn't like labour over the colour. I just probably was like, that's red, so I guess red is good for that. Do you know what I mean? And I think that once you get past that, I have to interpret it. There's this whole world that exists where poetry can be like many things and it exists in so many different forms. Like Sophia, it's really lyrical and it can be really, really intelligent, or it can be really witty, full of wordplay, or it can sit somewhere in the space, which is what I'm trying to do between poetry and comedy. I think humour is a way into like bigger feelings.
Yeah.
In a way that doesn't feel so scary, maybe. That's my opinion.
Yeah, totally. And I suppose they, in a way, they sort of have opposite reputations. So poetry can have this, I mean, it's not a fair view, but people can see it as you say, intimidating, maybe have baggage from school, see it as quite pretentious, whereas comedy has this, the thing I like about comedy is it's immediately grounding, and it's a very like folk art in the sense that people don't go to a fancy school or drama school. There's nowhere it's explicitly taught. It might be a course on a drama module, but you have to go out into pubs and really try it and test it, and it's a very direct medium. And the language of comedy is also quite a strange one as well. It's like you either like, you killed it or you died, or there's this really like combative relationship with the crowd. So I was wondering about that, what you like about poetry, you like that you can get past those expectations of it, but then comedy has that kind of groundedness to it, that directness.
And I think I'd be terrified to say that I do comedy. I don't know what your experience is, but I feel like people come to comedy gigs sometimes with their arms folded, like, right, go on then, I'll be the judge of whether this is funny or not.
This is funny.
And if you do poetry, nobody's really expecting to laugh. So it feels like a gentler in. It feels like
Yeah.
you can kind of surprise people with that more, and there's more space of where you're allowed to wander. Whereas comedy's like, keep the jokes coming. And sometimes you have to tell this story to get to this phenomenal punchline.
Yeah.
But people are waiting for the punchline. But with poetry, we're just all enjoying the wiggle.
Yeah, totally. In a way, I don't know if you saw them earlier, but there was an amazing talk from the head of TEDx, and she was giving some public speaking training. And the two pieces of advice she said was like, find your own story, but also think about the audience. But they have to come in that order, because if you think about the audience first, then there's not much for you to. It's quite a needy relationship, and I think that's when I find that's what's can be quite startling about stand-up is that kind of if you're going on trying to make them laugh as the first principle, you can forget the reason why you're there, which is maybe have a more like poetic thing to say. So as a form, then, like, do you think are you writing punchlines into the poems? Are you explicitly writing them in there, or is it the way that like a lot of comedy works, where sometimes I find if you'll improvise a line and it'll really land, and it'll land the first time, and you'll go, oh my God, that's amazing, and you'll do it the second time, and then you go, oh crap. So I lost some of the magic, and then maybe 30 times again you'll discover what it is.
Yeah.
So what's the kind of writing process? Are you going out and trying things with works in progress as you do with stand-up, or is there more of a kind of writing at home in your notebook kind of vibe?
It's very writing at home in the notebook, which, not to bring it back to the loneliness, but that's another part of it.
The travel lodge,
yeah, in the travel lodge.
We'll never leave the travel lodge in this conversation.
But you sort of write your things at home by yourself, then you take it to stages and you have this gorgeous time with an audience where you feel really connected, and then they leave and you're on your own with the thoughts again. But I think when I first started writing, I was like, everybody says you've really got to find your voice, and I was looking for it somewhere. And then a friend of mine who's also a phenomenal poet, Laurie Bolger, said to me, the voice is the one that's already in your own mouth. You just need to find a way to put that on the page. And as a person, I'm not very good with sincerity or kind of earnest emotion, so I will, in normal conversation, kind of undercut it with a joke just to kind of relieve that tension for myself. And that is how it happens in the poetry as well, because that's my voice, I suppose.
Yeah, okay, interesting. And I suppose, what's been your experience of touring it then? There's obviously the loneliness that comes. But it's International Women's Day, and I think stand-up's interesting, and maybe I suppose everything in society, but the performing arts, I know I'm not alien to it, have been quite a male, historically. Stand-up has also been quite kind of male and combative. What's been your experience of like touring as a woman recently, and what kind of advice would you give to up-and-coming poets who kind of, what's a good way to test it out and to find your voice? I know you said that the one is, to you, the one was that what was already there, and it was kind of crafting it. And what's the process of how you discover that? Like, is there a method, or does it just come to you one day, or you have to sit with it, or is there a process?
I don't think you do have to sit with it.
Okay.
I just do it before you feel ready to do it.
Yeah.
I think you can overthink it. We can talk ourselves out of everything. But the way I think that I learn what a poem is made of is by putting it on stage, and you can read it. I used to be really terrified of reading. I used to do a lot of acting. It was like mostly kind of commercial stuff. And the lesson was like, you've got to be ready. You've got to come here. You've got to know your lines. Otherwise, time is money, and you're wasting everybody's time if you're faffing around, not knowing what you're supposed to be doing. The lighting people are ready. The sound people are ready. Everybody's waiting for you. But poetry, you can read it and it doesn't make it any less, she says, before she reads some. But I think it's the only way to test it out. And it's kind of a waste of time to learn it by heart, perform it, and then think that whole second half needs to go. Then that's lodged in there. You have to unlearn that, learn the new bit. Just... people are so open to connection. I think we need it more and more. To like be in rooms like this is so gorgeous, not kind of doing it all through a screen, that like they'll forgive you. You don't need to speak every word perfectly. I do a lot of, I write a lot for people's weddings, and I write for people and then they do, I don't go to all the way. Now it's my part. Are you two done?
Out the way.
That I kind of write with somebody and then give them the poem, and they say, I'm just so scared. And I'm like, nobody's asked you to do this because they hope you can do it perfectly. It's your way of speaking. It's your way of connecting. And I think that's all we really want. Life's really hard and complicated, and to feel a little bit less alone in it is like the most comforting thing. Do you know what I mean? So it's all right to not do it perfectly. Let's just be doing it.
Yeah, I love that. And I love that particularly at the moment when, and it's not to blame the person per se, but so many speeches or things when people are performing begin with, I put this into ChatGPT, and which obviously is a tool, and I don't want to change the conversation to talk about that, but there's the process of creating and the imperfection of it. That's what gives it meaning. The struggle and the messiness of it, and the fact that it's not perfect. That's what artistic expression is.
Yeah.
And if the output is perfect with no struggle, then it lacks meaning. And what the fuck are we all doing here if we're not trying to find some kind of meaning in the mess of it all with each other? So I really like that. And on that note, you're gonna do. Are you doing the whole of the world spins anyway,
No,
or just a bit of it?
I'll just do a big chunker.
A bit of big chunker.
Yeah.
So just want to talk just a little bit about that show and.
The show came from the book. I wrote a book called "And the World Spins Anyway," and the book is basically exactly that. Like, I think there are 100 ways. No, there's more. There's how many people are on this planet? 8 billion. Something like this. So there's probably like 8 billion different ways to live a life, and yet we're all kind of herded towards this one version that's like go to school, go to uni, get a job, find a partner, get married, have a baby, do the thing, blah, blah, blah. What? That's nuts. 8 billion people expected to follow that same exact path? No way. No way. And I wanted to write a book that's a bit of an antidote to that. If you're feeling a bit wobbly, me too. It's kind of an overshare, but hopefully not always chaotically, just in a way that's like, this is where I'm at, and if you're there as well, like, I'll scooch over and we'll just figure it out together. You're not alone in any of it. Not that I know anything about anything, just rather like, let's be mates and desperate for the friends, as you know. Let's combat the loneliness. Let's just talk about it all and figure it out together. Don't worry about it.
Great. Okay, are you ready for it, Sunday Papers Live?
Oh, thanks very much. I'm actually going to take my glasses off. It's a little bit glary. They're probably really smudgy. How do you keep your glasses clean? Don't know. Okay. What did you say? Clean them? No. What did you say? Special hairspray? No, lens spray. Lens spray. Okay, I'll get some on the way home, thanks. I just think, pardon? The Travelodge vending machine. Okay, we could all go to the Travelodge vending machine after this and see what's in there. Thank you for having me. It's genuinely such a thrill to be here. Just rooms of people are the best place to be. I am a poet, as you know. I went on a date once and I was telling someone that I'm a poet. Not someone, I was telling the person that I was on the date with that I'm a poet. And I said to him, and what do you do? And he said, I go and get the golf balls out of the water on the golf course after the course is closed. That's a job. Can you believe that? That's amazing. And I was like, oh, cool, I do this, and trying to explain kind of what this entails. And as I was trying to explain it, he stuck his finger in the little pot of aioli that was like in between us on the table, really started just going to town, like twisting it round and then like, what is that? Raw dogging aioli, like into his mouth. And I'm sort of staring at him as he's doing it. And then he says to me, though, don't you just think though, like this with stringy, spittily. Do you ever have braces, but except those bands are like garlic mayonnaise, is what it was. And he says to me, but like, not everything has to be poetry though. And I was like, oh no. I said, do you see that moth somewhere here? It's like really frenzied and really full of longing, and it's just been hurling its tiny little moth body at this light for the past like 20 minutes just because it physically cannot imagine a world without brightness. I'm like, that is poetry. Or the way the waitress said ice cold, just dropped casual similes into conversation through loose fingers like dice across a Monopoly board. I'm like, that's poetry. All the way, neither of us have eaten that last chip. It begs the question, why are you sticking your finger in the mayonnaise? There's a chip left on the plate. But anyway, we're both just eyeing it, watching it get slowly colder. And I say love kind of exists like that. Sometimes, it occupies this space between what we really want and what we're actually willing to take. And then this guy just pulls a face and I'm like, okay, immediately calm down. I'm not saying that I'm in love with you, okay? God forbid a woman talk about metaphor. So we move swiftly on. I'm like, what about the way people profess that they're nursing a tea, like Earl Grey might need winding or burping, or at the very least just to be cradled between compassionate palms. What about the way beetroot stains your fingertips pink? Or almond milk does that really weird curdle in coffee? Or what about the way floorboards creak even when nobody's walking on them? It's like, I don't know, it's like the house just needs to clear its throat. Or what about the bus stop with its wet, warped bench, damp graffiti, someone's blunt carved declaration, I was here. As if being was ever something we needed to prove. And like even you with your aioli, what is that? Devotion. You've got your elbow on the table like you've had a really long week, but there's life in you yet. Do you know, it's almost reverent, the way you push, then scrape and swirl the curve of the ramekin. I mean, it's one of the worst things I've ever sat opposite. But if I was in the right mood, you might even be poetry too. And as for the rest of it, the reflection of the moon on the water, the way it sort of forms this road that just disappears into nothing as it meets the horizon. Do you know, in Sweden, they have a word specifically for that. I'm going to mispronounce it, I think, but the word is mangata. And it literally translates to mean moon street. God, what about the way the fridge just knocks its little light on every single time you open that door? Or, that half second before a kiss? Or IKEA's Billy bookcase assembly instructions and how they might as well exist as hieroglyphics for perseverance? What about that voice note you listen to on repeat, or those photos you don't really look at but you just cannot bring yourself to delete? Or what about the way this soft light is just falling on your face? Or the fact that light is even something that can fall and the sun is something we can catch? The way people say that, oh, you've caught the sun. I'm like, what actually is that if not poetry? And he just looks at me for a really long time, and I can hear the cogs in his brain like tick, 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 tick. And then eventually he says, fair. Okie dokie. That's his entire response to everything I said. Anyway, that's a long story, but I ended up marrying that man. Can you believe that? That's a lie. I never saw him again. I never saw that man again. Please, no, thank you. Thanks so much. I am in love now, though. That was years ago. I actually didn't even mean to fall in love. It sort of happened a bit accidentally. I was, do you ever queue a bunch of music on YouTube and then after a while YouTube just puts its own songs into your queue and you're like, where did that come from? So that's what was happening. And then this man just appeared with his lovely bald head and mirrored aviators. And I was like, oh my God, I'm in love with Pitbull. Whoa, I'm in love with... Have you seen Pitbull? Oh my goodness. So, yeah, it was you. I was like, where's that voice come from? My friend, Pitbull. So, I wrote him a poem, because that's, I guess, what I do. I just fall in love with stuff and write poems about it. That's my job, I think. I don't know. So I'll share it with you now, if that's okay. Or even if it isn't, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it now. Did you? Are you pointing at me? Oh.
Just mentioned that poem.
Oh, sorry. oh my God, I'm so sorry. I've just exposed your private convo that you were trying to do secret sign language. And I was like, what? That's so rude. Sorry. I won't do that again. Took my glasses off, but I can still see just about. So I wrote a poem. It has quite a lot of Pitbull lyrics in it. If you don't know Pitbull, sorry about that. It's not very long, and then we'll all be included again in a minute. It's called Mrs. Worldwide. And it goes like this. Excuse me. That's Pitbull lyric, but for example. What a wordsmith, I know. It's, yeah, he's amazing. Excuse me. I might drink a little more than I should tonight, but it's the only way I might muster something like courage, so douse me in Dutch. Make me brave enough to say everything I could barely catch my breath for sober. Consider this, me, living in the moment, because for all we know, we might not get tomorrow. So tonight, I'd like to write you into endless poems, devote 100 lines each to your smile, your machismo, your eyes, and then 100 lines more once you pop those little shades off and I can see what they actually look like. Take me stateside. We can stand in the centre of Times Square, tipsy with giddiness, turn ourselves pink and green and orange as we drink in the lights, and like everything else I love, I can take a picture of you with a Kodak, if that would make you happy, which I imagine it probably would. And look, if what you say is true, that you know you want me, just as much as you know I want you, won't ya? Then let's just sack the rest of it off. We can rename our heart's compass and we will never get lost. We can follow the footsteps you've left all over the world. Give them some company. We could tie a little bouquet under their arch and make me Mrs. Worldwide, Mrs. 305. And I will vow from here on out to always yell timber when you go down. That's disgusting, sorry about that. When we are older, when we are weary, when I am grey and your head is as shiny as ever, when we're ready to lower languor into rumpled sheets, it just won't matter whether we're in a hotel, motel, or Holiday Inn, or Travelodge. Because as long as we're together, we will enjoy life. Dale, thank you very much. Thank you. I love him. I will say, though, as it's International Women's Day and all, my favourite type of love is platonic love. And I think as much as we are nudged towards these milestones, we can be nourished and nurtured by everybody in our lives in the most wonderful ways. I don't know very much about love. I actually don't really know very much about anything, to be honest with you. I don't think that love is these kind of big, grand gestures like all of the rom-coms we grew up on would have us believe. I don't think it's meet cutes and pebbles at the window, you know, like boom boxes in the rain. I think love is so much simpler than that. I think love is just sleep-drunk bodies really nestled into the crook of a Sunday morning, and then McNuggets brought to bedsides as we dissect the night before, you know. I think it's tipsy limbs slipped out of sequins and into softness because we never let each other drift off in full glam. I think it's spare hands on unreachable backs, microfiber mittens laden with fake tan, and I think it's carefully choreographed dance routines test-driven in living rooms and then whisked into discos where we battle with the bass line to scream adoration inches from each other's sweaty faces. And I think love is just, text me when you get home. And as our smallest selves, it's knowing words can wait until tomorrow. Today, we fold our limbs into each other like origami cranes, Today we become found fivers tucked into back pockets for safekeeping, and we stay there. We feel held enough to completely break. And I think love is just tampons passed under bathroom stalls and pep talks on prescription. And I think it's cardigan sleeves wiping tears from bubblegum cheeks, not brought, by the way, because we've just been dumped. Thanks. But because our favourite frozen fix has been Dulce de discontinued. So look, we might not be the movie, we might not be snogging in the rain or getting down on one knee, but really simply, we're just continuing to be the girls of each other's dreams. The ones we discovered knee-deep in obsessive adolescence, fell head over jelly heels for, and have held on to white-knuckled ever since. I propose we spend forever falling platonically in love. I wouldn't trust my foolish heart in the hands of anybody else anyway. Apart from Pitbull, obviously, just said that. Thanks so much. Thank you. Thanks. I did have, accidentally sort of broke up with my best friend. Have you ever had that? Whoa, that's the worst thing ever. Well, it's probably not the worst thing ever because there's bad stuff happening. Whoa. But it was quite a sad time. I think we were probably each other's person for years and years and years, and then one of us, her. Just saying the truth. That's the facts of the matter. Got another person. That's great. No, that is great. That's great. The more I say that's great, the less truthful it sounds. But that's just life, isn't it, really? And so I wrote a poem about it. Here we go. Here's the theme. It's called Reason, Season, Lifetime. Do you know that little phrase? People come into your life for a reason. Yeah. Season or lifetime. Just to quickly finish it in case you didn't know. And that is the title of the poem, and it goes like this. Those nectarines we brought from the farmer's market, remember them? We let the juice dribble down our chins. We walked our bare legs to the common at the first sign of spring, and then came red wine winters where we'd get in the same bed just to warm it up. And we'd stay until morning. And then you somersaulted into something wonderful, and he's really gentle. Wraps his arms around you in public like he knows he's caught a rare thing. It's the exact type of love we lit candles and burned sage for when we were drunk at 2 o'clock in the morning waiting for that fried chicken to arrive. I used to know where your inhaler was, what you were having for dinner, when to put the period playlist on. I was agony aunt, wardrobe extension, and now I am a story you might tell if he asks about your past. I really thought you were every season. The frost, the thaw, the full, brilliant bloom. I thought you were the lifetime, but now I'm thinking maybe you were the reason, existing to teach me what true love looks like. Anyway, I've put the nectarines and the sage and the 27 minutes we waited for the fried chicken in that gingham pouch you once used for tampons, just in case you want them for your something borrowed. Although, I think I was probably the one who was borrowing, but oh my God, wasn't it brilliant while it lasted? Thanks very much. Thank you. That fried chicken, do you know, that was really bad. When I was younger, I used to drink more than I could drink now. Can't drink now without having hangover for a week. So, yeah, I'd had all of the wine in southwest London, I think, that night. And then the next day I had a 12-hour bar shift. I used to work behind the bar in the comedy club. And I got up in the morning, still not in a mental state to be going to work and being in charge of things. And when we'd ordered the fried chicken the night before, we'd fallen asleep before it arrived. And I picked it up off the doorstep and I ate it on the bus on the way into work. That's bad, isn't it? I was going to say, I'm not ashamed to say that, but I am quite ashamed to say that. That's quite shameful behaviour, I'd argue. That's not good. Anything could have happened to that. Fox could have, what, farted on it? What do foxes do? I don't know. It's fine. Look at me now. Absolutely fine. For the most part. Okay. I read a lot of crime thrillers. Does anybody read like those books? Yeah. Have you noticed that, like, in a lot of them, that are written by men, the author sort of spends more time describing the female character's breasts than necessarily advancing the plot. Have you noticed that? At first I was like, that's rude. And then I thought, wait, that's a life hack. Sometimes as women, we can really we really go in on the self-berating, you know? Like, I get ready to go out with my pals and you just look at them and think, you're just so beautiful. Look at you, you're just gorgeous. And then they'll be like, oh, I can't wear this skirt because my knees at certain angles look like an old man's face. And you're like, what are you talking about? And then they don't wear the skirt because they believe that. So if you ever have a moment where you feel a bit wobbly, give this a go. If you have boobs, this is a poem for people who have boobs. It's called, Are We Admiring Our Breasts Then, or What? On the days you feel less than, which, by the way, I really hope are few and far between, I'd like to invite you, to admire your breasts as if they've been written by, let's say, like 60-something-year-old man who's penning his soon-to-be-published crime thriller / sexy romp novel in the summer house at the bottom of his garden, okay? Just carve out a little bit of time to admire their size and their previously undiscovered sentience. You've likely never lingered on their ability to be startled or appreciative. So just linger for a while. Okay, cocoon yourself in the comforting embrace of misogyny disguised as literature. It's sensational. On the days you feel less than, which, by the way, I really hope are few and far between, do not set off in pursuit of purpose and worth. Your value lies solely in the heft of your bosom. You know that. Okay, you know that. The way it heaves with convenience, sways with even the faintest shake of a head. Have you ever really appreciated how your breasts could hypothetically suss out a serial killer just a couple of seconds before your brain does? That's amazing. Or the way they might roll in perfect sync with your eyes. On the days you feel less than, which by now, it should go without saying, I really do hope are few and far between, it's only fair, I think, to assume that this majesty that exists in your mammaries, it flows through you in your entirety. I think it bubbles in the very marrow of your bones. I think it trickles from soft lips as you whisper and WhatsApp incantations, as you trace trees back generations, learn you are stitched into the bloodline of witches, magic leaking from every single inch of you. Thanks very much. Thanks. The book is mostly poems, but there are like little chunks that are essays? I don't know what they are. Prose poems, I guess, if you want to say that it's all poetry. And this is not something I share. I don't do this next one as part of the tour show, but I guess I feel like it's International Women's Day, so if we can't say it today, when can we say it? Sort of regretting having started. It's just basically, I just really think that I think that my nipples are absolutely massive. I don't know. I don't mean the little like boop boop like cherry on top bit, the like sticky out. Like, oh my God, is there a little draft in this artisanal brunch spot? I don't mean that bit. I mean the like bit, the like surrounding kind of postcode. What the like that little the areola grandes, if you will. Okay, that's what I'm going with now. haven't seen enough other nipples to verify this. If you'd like to change that, I'd appreciate that. Just in the name of science and also morale. But I just think I can't really find a way into it. I find it really difficult to bring it up. I don't think, on your lunch break over like a Pret salad, you can't lean to your colleague and say, how are you getting on with that presentation? And also, sorry, just quickly, what's the diameter of your nipple? You can't do it. It's impossible. And occasionally I might catch a glimpse on the beach, like a rogue topless sunbather, God bless her, just suggesting what the standard issue might look like. But beyond that, I haven't got a clue. I've absolutely not conducted sufficient research to confirm or deny my suspicions, but I have dreamt about the existence of an underground high-stakes nipple comparison ring. I like to imagine you just slip through a velvet curtain into this kind of smoky back room where you flash your chebs to this like big bald man, and he's got like a clipboard, and beside him there's like a tiny woman with a razor sharp micro fringe, and they just look at you, no words, and then they either offer a solemn nod or a really gentle kind of pitying shake of the head, and then you just zip up your hoodie with your dignity slightly askew and melt back into the night. And so let's say such a place existed, okay, let's say I had a solid grasp of the national nipple averages. What then? What then? Am I going to write a thesis? Doubtful. So what's the point? To arm myself with a new insecurity, to turn this kind of harmless observation into another private neurosis I can tend to for years, like all of my sickly houseplants. The thing is, when all is said and done, whether I'm looking left, right, or straight down the barrel of an OnlyFans account, my nipples are staying exactly as they are. You can spend your whole life studying other people's nipples, but you've still got to live inside your own T-shirt. The only thing that shrinks when you compare is peace of mind. Thanks very much. Thank you. We'll stay in the body section just for a little bit, because I've discovered recently that I think I'm a bit fatter when I'm in the bath. Has anybody else had the same discovery? Yeah, what is that? The angle of the bath, maybe? Or some? Is that what it is? And you never kind of see... I don't like to have a bath, really. I don't know why it's always so bright in there. Of all the rooms that need a dimmer switch, why are the bathrooms so... Like, the bath water's really hot, and then I get out feeling like a little naked mole rat who's just had a spa day. It's just not... It's not a good time for me, personally. So I tend to avoid them. On the rare occasions that I do partake, I pour half a bottle of Burt's Bees Tub Time bubbles into the bath, which for future reference, that's too much. You do not need that much, but my self-care knows no bounds. Okay, so I treat myself. I'm fatter in the bath, and I don't know the science there because I'm not Albert Einstein or a different scientist, but I know that only in the bath does my belly become dropped ribbon. It ripples like a Viennetta. Each swell, a momentary emergence from foam, like those infamous protuberances of the Loch Ness Monster. You know, that like... Whoop, whoop, whoop. Actually, it is quite nice. These soft fistfuls of flesh that sit just above my hips exist unfiltered in this privacy. The stretch marks on my thighs are neither tiger stripes nor lightning bolts. They're just a little postcard from the past, a memory of a body I outgrew. Every roll, every scar, every dimple, a glorious corporeal decoration, a really small chapter in the story of how I got to be exactly where I am. Skin has texture, that's a fact. Delicate etchings and really deep lines at the corners of eyes drawn slowly over years of squinting into joy. The echoes of laughter reappearing with every smile, a reminder that consistent happiness will not leave you unblemished. I have grown and tightened and stretched and shrunk. I have struggled and survived and overcome. I have lived, laughed, loved, and I get to wear the proof on my skin. So if you're sat in the bath, or anywhere else for that matter, kind of grappling with a body that has carried you through this world, I really hope at some point you learn to love the evidence. Thanks very much. Thank you. I think I'll just share with you now I think it's my most serious poem in the book, whatever that means. And it's a little contradiction. There's a lot in here about body neutrality, body positivity. Sometimes feels a little bit out of reach, do you know what I mean? But just like, hey, I have a body and I exist, that's quite cool. And then this far through, which like quite a way through, that was good, well done, that's good reading. Sometimes I say things and then I regret saying them, and then when I go home I sort of lie in bed staring at the ceiling thinking about everything I wish I hadn't said into a microphone. That's good reading. That will probably appear later. Like some sort of a hideous advert for literacy or so. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Let's move on from it. Let's not dwell. This is called A Contradiction, just to contradict all of the good body stuff in the book a bit. Okay. When I'm washing the dishes, I'm actually holding in my stomach. I'm squeezing suds from the sponge and wishing I could wring inches from my thighs, just like water from the dishcloth, just twist the fat from bone. My hands slick with soap and self-loathing, and I'm not proud of this. But I'm also not surprised. I think it's a really slow education, this vanishing act, the way a girl learns to shrink before she learns to grow. And seeds were sown between the pages of Heat magazine, where Britney's body became public property and Lindsay's weight was always up for debate. We were raised by that circle of shame. Do you remember that? Where someone in an office got to slap a big red circle on celebrity cellulite and call it something close to journalism. They taught us really young that our bodies are everybody's business except our own. So then in the dim glow of MSN Messenger, we learnt to type, ugh, I look disgusting, before anybody else could beat us to the punchline. And then by the time we were grown, it was just instinct. A twitch in the fingers, little reflex in the gut, because they raised us like this. They gave us entire industries designed just to make us feel unworthy. They told us we were broken and then sold us the glue. And I know, oh my God, I know. I'm really meant to be better than this by now. I'm meant to have put all of the shame in the bin along with the weird diet teas we used to drink and all the push-up bras. But some things, they just sit too deep in the skin. And even now, there are still moments of hesitation. For example, when I see a picture of myself and think not, do I look happy, but do I look thin? Just echoes of these lessons we never asked to learn. Even now, when I sit in a bikini, I don't actually sit, I kind of just like arrange. Do you know? A man I once loved never took his t-shirt off at the beach. And he said it was because he burned easily. Yeah, right. I always suspected that he felt exactly like I did, which is to say that taking up space was a crime and showing skin was an offence. And now when I stand there, hands clutching the hem of my dress, I think about him and all the other people sat on their towels, holding their breath, waiting for somebody else to go first. Thanks very much. It's really nice to share some of these because I'm doing kind of the same set on tour all the time, and these are the ones that don't make it. They're a bit more women-y vibes because of last night I was at a gig and somebody called it Feminist Christmas, which I just think is lovely, isn't it? Yeah, it's Feminist Christmas, so we're doing the Feminist Christmas carols. Somebody called me a girl boss once, and it was very upsetting. Have you ever been called a girl boss? What do you think about that? Do we like that? Do we not like that? We don't know. I think I know we shouldn't really like capitalism. I love stuff. I just really love stuff. That I shouldn't say that out loud. Sorry about that. But and I love women and I love feminism. So really, I sit like right in that middle of that Venn diagram, like where all the girl boss merch exists. But the woman who called me a girl boss was drinking from a flask that said CEO of myself, and I didn't really know what to make of that. Not to judge people, but I didn't love that, and it's getting a bit much for me. I feel like I could buy a box of tampons that have smashed the patriarchy like crocheted into the string, and I wouldn't even blink really at this point. That's sort of where I feel like we're at with it. So if I am ever called a girl boss again, I need you to know that that's happening against my will. I need you to know that I was probably mid-sentence, okay, talking about something inconsequential. I was talking about something so small that it somehow became the only thing that mattered. You know, like the way my nana only ever drank sparkling water, or the smell of a sun-warmed pavement in August. I was talking about something really soft, probably, when girl boss, sharp as a bitten lip, was placed in my mouth, its vowels already chewed. Look, I don't want to be rude, but I don't think I was built for power blazers or glossy co-working spaces with neon signs that say slay every day. As if the key to ambition is a catchphrase. I was never meant to stand on stage with a head mic and gesture to a PowerPoint slide that says, don't be a lady, be a legend. Why must women's ambition always be wrapped in wordplay, softened with a joke, with a curated aesthetic so no one feels threatened, our success sold back to us? Souvenirs from the battle we have not finished fighting. Nothing quite says revolution like a keyring and a matching T-shirt. Glittering pin badges and canvas tote bags, as if we wouldn't really know how to want things without being reminded by iridescent lettering. I could be wrong. I just don't reckon the suffragettes chained themselves to railings and flung their bodies beneath galloping hooves in the hope that one day women of the future might hang a cursive print. She believed she could, so she did. In our kitchens. No offence if you have that. I love that for you. I just don't really want a smaller version of success with frilled edges, built like a patronising pat on the head. When men succeed, they are just successful. That's lovely. There's no boy boss. There's no branded water bottle reminding him to hydrate and hustle. There's no dinky little prefix stuck to the front. I think girl is a word they use to make power seem quite cute. Less threatening, more digestible. The more bite-sized you make us, the less likely we are to get stuck in your throat. Thanks very much. Thanks. I'll just do a couple more for you. As I said, the book's really about like finding a different way. All of my pals are kind of on a similar path. They're all getting married and having babies, and it's really amazing to watch them do that. It really is phenomenal. Like, whoa, I can't believe that you're doing this. I feel a little bit envious because they're always picking the babies over me, and I'm like looking at the baby like, I was holding your mum's hair back while she was being sick into a hedge in Kavos, and you hadn't even had the decency to be born. Okay, so let's just not forget. Let's not forget the pecking order here. I think it's brilliant. They're all doing it. And at the pub, my friend told me she was pregnant. And I say congratulations with my whole face and my whole heart. And then I sort of awkwardly wrapped my arms around her with my hands that were still sticky from spilling my drink. And I thought, how do people just decide things? How do they know now is the time to grow tiny, soft humans who giggle and cry and paint macaroni with gold glitter? How do they have conversations about leaving contraceptives in the drawer or the packet? Last week, I spent 2 hours trying to decide whether I should or should not buy a wood wick candle. 2 hours. One candle. Sorry, can you ever say two something, one something without thinking about Two Girls, One Cup? That has ruined my life, that, honestly, many ways. Sorry for bringing that up. 2 hours, one candle, quick. 2 hours of weighing up cedar versus sandal, and in the end, I decided against it. All I really know, I think, is the way I hold my own life like a soft peach, turning it over in my hands, checking for bruises. And I do also know that some people have life plans and some people Google things like, what happens to your microbiome if you eat hummus for every single meal, hypothetically? And maybe that's fine. Maybe it's kind of perfect. Maybe life is just one big, really gorgeous, really terrifying buffet where some people beeline for the roast beef and some people just keep filling their plates with crisps and pate or like drinking Prosecco by the bread section. So I tell her congratulations again. Because what I really mean is I love that you are sure. And I love that I am not. Thanks very much. This is the poem that the book title came from, because I think this is very, very about what I was saying earlier about there being so many different ways to live a life. And I think like hustle culture is a real thing and everybody on the internet's making you feel like you're not doing enough, but you're comparing their curated highlight reel to your gorgeous, wobbly, messy everyday, and that's not a fair comparison. So I think you can just let that go. I think you can let them go with their lovely rush hour lives. I just don't think that everybody has to rise at dawn and do hot yoga. That's great if you love that, but I'm just saying it's not the only option. I don't think it's compulsory to like chug a lemon water and find your purpose before 7 a.m. I think some days the mornings can stay whole, completely unbroken, something you pick up and then just put down again. You don't need to dress for company. You can stay soft if you want. You can watch the slant of light crawl across your carpet, eat toast so thick with butter it actually leaves teeth marks, and you can wear the same bra 17 days in a row if you want to, which I do. I suppose what I'm saying is you're allowed to do things differently, to pause if you need to. You can be a Sunday, even on a Tuesday, and when they come to you all like wide-eyed and puzzled, asking, oh my God, how have you done this? You can just shrug and tell them that you haven't really. The secret is that there is no secret. You just stopped moving like the rest of them, and guess what? The world spun anyway. Thanks very much. I'm going to do one more. Thanks. This has been really dreamy. Thank you for having me. Hope you have a lovely rest of your evening and then a great week and then carry on after that forever and ever. Forever and ever, amen. It's nearly what I said there. And then I thought, why would I say that? Okay. Where did that come from? I love this. I cannot believe that this is my job now, being lonely in a travel lodge full time. It's really gorgeous. And a wonderful friend of mine, we've been friends for a lifetime. Can I just say privately? She's like, do you have these friends that you think, if I met them now, I don't know if we'd be like, really, who said that? Don't know. But do you know, we're just really different now. We've just taken completely different paths in life, and it's brilliant. But I don't think we fully understand each other in the way that we used to when we were doing the same thing, much as we try. And I think that I get it, because creativity is something you're encouraged out of a little bit in favour of more grown-up things. And I think people are always trying to weigh your worth a bit. I think that's why when you do small talk at weddings and stuff, that one of the first questions is, oh, and what do you do? And if you say, oh, I'm a doctor, they go, oh, yes, okay. And if you say, which I have many times, oh, I'm a spoken word poet, they go, oh, What is that? Is that okay? Are you getting enough? Is anyone paying you to do that? How do you, are you survive? Are you, so I've just started saying, I'm a doctor, because I'm never going to see them again. And it's fine, it's nicer. But then somebody chokes later at the wedding on the dance floor, just dance away, get out quickly. Order a taxi, get out of there. They'll be fine. I just think people are, if you do creative stuff, they try and it comes with conditions like this. Poetry doesn't really count until it's written in one of these that people can buy, or if you're a musician, until you're doing gigs and having albums, that's the technical term. It doesn't really count. If you're an actor, people say, oh, will you have been in anything I've seen? Or, do you know, if you're an artist, unless you've hung it in a cold room with a little plaque beside it, it just doesn't count. But it all counts. It all has to count. It's just the best thing ever. We're just trying to understand and be understood, and I think this is the only way I know how to do it. So if you are doing it, keep going. I think you're really brilliant. And I was trying to explain this to my friend. I do this now and I do this now, and she went, yeah, but what do you like really want to do with your life? Oh my God. I said, oh no, okay. I really, I want to plant a tree, and I want to watch it grow for 80 years, just so I can write it a thank you note for the oxygen and the shade, and then a small apology for all of the paper I have wasted. And I want to eat heaped spoonfuls of mac and cheese in spite of my lactose intolerance. And I want to be a morning person. Oh my God, I want to be a morning person. But also, I want to stay up all night having really long existential chats with the stars. I want to take the scenic route, and I want to use my whole heart. And I want to not immediately get out of the car, but just sit for 1 second after we've parked, watching the rain make little rivers on the glass. And I want to fall in love with my own bad ideas, like the time I baked a cake with an entire one of those little things of cinnamon. Oh my God. Absolutely horrifying. And I want to run into the sea like a woman in a perfume ad. Stay until my skin wrinkles. Dry off in a cafe with half-written poems in my notebook and a half-healed heart in my chest. And I really want to fall in love with learning how to get back up again. I want to ask the rivers to teach me how they hold both fury and stillness. What does it mean to carry absolutely everything and then just, whoop, let it all go? And I want to watch bad telly. And I want to laugh so much I forget the sharp edges of the day. And I really want to be someone who remembers things, like birthdays. Oh, and my mum's quiche recipe. And the sound of my dad as he shouts, Jorge, down the phone. That's what he calls me, because once upon a time I bought him Spanish lessons and he's can't remember much else. But that's lovely. And I want to keep asking questions. Like, why do we convince ourselves we're too old for certain things? We will never be younger than we are in this moment right now. And why am I still paying £8.99 a month for a meditation app I haven't opened since 2020? Why can I still remember every single lyric to One Night Stand by Mystique? And Dr. Jones by Aqua? And Rock the Boat by the Hughes Corporation, which I literally only overheard a handful of times when I was rehearsing for the Deepings Gang show when I was about 13. And why does a cup of tea taste infinitely better when someone else makes it? And why are straight men on dating apps so obsessed with fish? Guys, what's going on? Why do we whisper the things we're proud of and scream the things we regret? And then my lovely friend, she just tilts her head and blinks at me and she's like, that's quite a lot. I just sort of meant like work wise. And I smile because I know that. But the honest answer to her question is that I do want it all. I am so obsessed with the loud, messy, uncomfortable wonder of even existing at all. So just give me all of it. Give me every bruise, every bloom, every completely impossible thing. Thank you so much for having me.